Hi to all you amazing people in this group. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching this video. You're awesome, and I know the people around you are gonna benefit from that. Alright, so today's video is in regards to chapter 2, left brain, right brain. So just a quick summary of last chapter, which is downstairs, upstairs. So pain tends to bring on a crisis mode, hypervigilance, right? And so in order to disarm the brain, right, with strategies and stuff, right here, which happens here, you have to walk from downstairs to upstairs brain, right? So you have to address this in order to effectively go to the second floor and disarm pain. Today, I'm going to talk about left and right brain. So left, right, we split in half. So in order to understand how left and right brain impacts and the strategy I recommend, I think it's important to talk about silent threat and obvious threat. So a pandemic, 2 years in, it's 2022, it's still going on because I say it's a silent threat. And when you can't see it, you can't like hold it, it's a silent threat. And when it's a silent threat, it's easy to have a disintegration, a lack of unity. Versus say 9/11, an earthquake. We know, we see it, we see the harm, we see the hurt, and we band together and everyone brings the unity for a common good. So that's a great example because when you're dealing with pain for a long period of time, sometimes the pressure within ourselves and the internal dialogue within ourselves and the disintegration of left and right brain happens, and that feeds the vicious cycle of pain or an output. Mental health, anxiety, depression, addiction, sleep disorder, autoimmune, healing, whatever it is, because it all applies to all that category. A common example is if you're an athlete, but you have, say you tore your ACL, say you hurt your shoulder, things heal, you're doing all your exercise, but the pressure, the pressure, self-inflicted pressure of performing at an A level, the perfectionist in you kicks in, and the mind takes over and dampens our ability to connect, be in tune, bring intention to mind-body care. A pianist who hurt her wrist, right? Playing the piano, that's violin. And then the pressure of like always performing and showing up every day because there's someone behind you that's waiting for you to slip up so that they can take your seat. So then you have to grind through it, push through it, and then that pressure, that silent pressure kicks in, and then it feeds into your pain, right? You still have the tissue stuff, that heals, but then what amplifies and brings down the suffering and the exaggeration of pain, amplification pain, is that internal pressure dialogue, that silent threat that we bring to ourselves. So we have the left brain and right brain. And so I transitioned to that to explain that left brain tends on to bring on the logic component, the overthinking, the rationalization, the list, the go to Google, try to make sense of it, because our brain, our mind likes to make sense and has to make sense, and that's the left side. And as I talk about left right brain, scientists are trying to break free of that, but there is still some truth to that. Right side of the brain tends to bring of the non-linear, the abstract, the big picture of things, the blissness, the enjoyment, the artistry of life. So the integration, so I say one likes to go to the past, one likes to go to the future, but when the integration of the brain, it brings on the ability to be present. So pain, I don't know about you, but pain brings a lot of emotion, a lot of feelings. So we tend to either go shift towards the emotion side, and then just like a pendulum, we shift there and get so frustrated, and then we've had enough, a tipping point, then we switch over to one other side, right? And we swing both ways, and then the pain just keeps going. Because once we get frustrated, we swing over and we try to over-rationalize things. We go to Google, try to make sense of it, and then we get frustrated on that end, and it just goes back and forth. Or would you stay stuck on one side and just try to rationalize everything, ask all the questions, and I see both gamuts, both sides of the picture. All right, so I talked about left brain, right brain, and now I want to talk about strategies, because the strategy is to integrate. Because left brain is not bad or good, right brain is not bad or good, it's inability to adapt. We're just stuck in one area or we're stuck in another area, but the ability to just throughout the day, just drive between left and right, back and forth, adapt. And be aware if you're one, and adapt and swing it to the other side and reconnect over and over and over consistently. So let's talk about memory consolidation, because basically, because I said pain is a feeling and experience, what happens to experiences? We collect in our brain as memories. And so what happens to memory? It just goes into different parts of our brain if it's integrated, right? And then when we recall it, then we pull it from different parts of the brain and then replay the memory in our mind later on. That's why sometimes the ability to consolidate and relive the memory can be totally different, right? And so let's talk about memory consolidation. There's short-term, moderate, and long-term memory. So short-term is actually where we don't actually need a brain. We have a built-in mechanism, because if we step on something, right, and we need something to act really fast, a reflex, then when we step on something, our feet feels it, it goes up to our spinal cord, and then the spinal cord has a mechanism to really withdraw our leg to protect us. So that's short-term memory, it's like a reflex. Now there's moderate and long-term. So we want to tap into long-term memory consolidation, and that happens, again, in the limbic system. And so you hear, there's a lot of research nowadays to talk about limbic system, and autoimmune healing, and then pain management, and learning limbic system. Google it, learn about that. And that's where long-term memory consolidation happen. So, and if you notice, that's in the middle, right? That's the midbrain. That's in the middle. So that's the one where it allows you to switch from left to right brain. Hopefully that's an aha moment. Limbic system is very key. I slowed it down and just said limbic system is important, right? Okay, so because our brain tends to swing left, if you notice, you're more the logical, the list, over rationalizing things. Man, why is my pain this? I need a plan. I need to feel this. I need to pay attention to how I walk. And I need to have a template when I go to gym, and just do that. Be very strategic planner, type A. Then you gotta connect to that left brain. And then from there, that left brain, have some strategies to bring more abstractness, pleasureness, while you're doing that, right, the motion component, and then that way you learn how to leverage your left brain, but also learn how to swing a little bit more to right, and just practice that over and over and over. And a great example, I have a client, he had shoulder pain, a young guy who was weightlifting, so obviously there's some tissue stuff, he felt it, right? We did some classic rotator cuff, shoulder strengthening, rib cage stuff, breath work, but he kept coming back with that anxiety, the anxiousness, that I don't know if I can, it's my shoulder, right? And so I needed to connect with the left brain and the right brain. So I said, patient, write a list of, because he was going into a lot of negative thought spiral. So I said, patient, write down all the positive stuff that you experienced throughout the day, thinking that that might help shift him from negative to positive. He comes back, he said, I did try it, right? I said, can I see it? He showed me, and he did write it down, but it didn't resonate with him. He didn't have any aha moment. So I tried it again. I said, just try again. And so he did. And then he came back, same thing. Did that resonate with you? Because it's supposed to resonate. These strategies are supposed to resonate, right? It's supposed to give you aha moments, because aha moments is going to allow you to shift. And so he's like, no. I said, okay. He said, but I have a lot of thoughts, and they're all negative. And I said, okay, write it all down. Okay, so that's one of the strategy, verbal dumping, right, without any judgment. And he says, okay. He sat down, After the rehab, he sat down, he wrote down all the negative thoughts. He said, you know what, doc? I only have 5 thoughts. It's okay if I just keep writing that down. I said, just write it down. So he wrote it down, he kept writing that down. And I gave him like about 2 minutes to do that. As he's writing down, he looked up at me. And I noticed on the side of my eye that he looked at me. He had the aha moment. He said, you know what? I'm realizing none of these negative thoughts are true anymore. That's the aha moment. We made a list. He visualized, saw that. It's tangible. And when the mind has something tangible to hold, to feel, to describe, besides a feeling and experience, how do you, how do you grab an experience to fix it? You can't. So it's in paper. He wrote down, he's like, you know what? It says, my mind keeps saying, my shoulder's weak. I'm gonna hurt myself. But actually, I'm getting stronger. I'm lifting more with you. And then he went down the 5 lists. He's like, no. And then, after that, boom, he was able to shift that pattern. So that's what I mean. You want aha moments. And so read the book. I give you example of making lists. Examples of what scenarios resonate with you in terms of making lists. I am a big fan of journaling, writing it down. If you have a lot of thoughts in your mind, right, and they're racing, and it's kind of overwhelming, write all down. Every single thing. Just regurgitate, just dump it on a piece of paper. Don't judge it. And this brings on a lot of hesitancy between a lot of people when I bring this topic up, because it requires them to have the courage of writing something and not judging it. The practice of acceptance, the practice of self-kindness, the practice of surrendering, whatever it is. And so this piggybacks into, that's the reason why I wrote the 4th book in regards to personal development, because when you have pain, sometimes we're our worst enemy, right? You have the strategy, but you only pick the strategy that resonates with you. Not resonates, but only you feel the most comfortable. And to be uncomfortable, right, that might amplify your pain, because when you feel uncomfortable, your body says, I don't like that, I need to communicate that, I might have more pain, tension, right? And so you have to develop courage, and this just comes with showing up. So that's the left side. You connect with it, and then feel it. So if you're like, oh, I gotta deadlift, I gotta lift weights, I gotta brace my back, I'm very strategic, right? You over-rationalize. Now shift it over to feeling it. Feel the ground, right? Sense the environment. So shift over to sensing it. And if you're very emotional and you're over on the right side, and you're so present by the pain, then connect with that side, and then shift over and practice using written format to shift and express that pain, express that abstractness onto a piece of paper, go back and forth, right? In the book, I love artistry, singing, connecting with what you like to do. What if I have to ask you, if there's no worries in the world, if you don't have your pain, what excites you, what motivates you to get out of bed doing? If you notice you're saying it, but you're not doing it, then I encourage you to get back to do that. And if you don't, then that's a soul-searching kind of question for you to figure out why. Right? So read the book. There's a lot more examples and understanding between left and right brain, but the main summary is you have the left brain and right brain, and we tend to stay one side only, and the integration is important. So we have downstairs, upstairs, left and right, and the middle is so important because that middle allows us to be present, accept, and then, but in order to practice that strategy, we have to develop personal development within ourselves to allow us to be consistent and do that and really break free.